Hi, welcome to accountancy class. In our previous class, we have completed theoretical part of first chapter, depreciation. This class, I am going to start theoretical concepts of that is consignment accounts. Already you might have gone through the problems of consignment, but you don't know what exactly consignment is. Okay, how the accounts are prepared, what are the various theoretical concepts we need to understand for the examination point of view as well as for knowledge point of view. So today, in this class, let us understand the definition of consignment and the differences between consignment and sale. Very important concept. This year may be covered for 5 marks. A problem may be given from consignment for 10 marks. So an extra additional question may be given even for 5 marks or 10 marks. 2 marks questions will be covered from consignment. Clear? And for your graduation also, in BCom first year, if consignment is a very important chapter, having the weightage of 16 marks. Okay, so very important. So let us understand what consignment. In common parlance, in consignment means sending goods from one place to another place. Consignment means sending goods from one place to another place. But from the accountancy point of view, from our commerce angle, consignment is a type of business. Like in first year, you have learnt various types of, various forms of business organizations like sole proprietorship, partnership, cooperative society, joint Hindu family, like that. So we have got certain special transactions or special types, special forms of business. Okay. So among the special transactions, we have got a type of business called consignment business. What is the type of, say, nature of consignment business? It's very simple. A person who is the owner of the goods or the manufacturer of the goods will appoint an agent at other place to sell the goods. Okay, very simple. I am Madhusudan, I am in Hyderabad. I have printed some accountancy textbooks or material. Now I would like to sell these materials at Vijayawada. So instead of opening a branch over there, I will appoint an agent at Vijayawada. One more agent I may appoint at Warangal. I can appoint one agent at Bangalore, like that. So from here, from Hyderabad where I am printing, I am the source of the goods, I am the owner of the goods. I will be sending the goods to my agents at different places, and those agents have to follow my instructions. They have to sell goods on behalf of me. And for their services, I will be paying them commission. So here, one person is the owner, the other person is the agent. So try to understand the terminology. The person who sends goods is called as consignor. Consignor is the person who sends goods. The agent initially is the owner and the agent. Agent is called as consignee, who receives goods. Okay. The person who is sending the goods is called as consignor. The person who receives the goods is called as consignee. Clear, ma? So if I am sending goods from Hyderabad, so I am consignor. The person who is receiving goods will become my consignee. So as consignee is working on behalf of consignor, he is paid some commission. That commission will be calculated on sales. So how many types of commission is there, how it is to be calculated, that we will learn in the next class. Okay, so you try to understand the terms what we are using. Like in partnership we call as partners. So in consignment business we call, that means the parties involved, the people involved in the business are the consignor and the consignee. The person who is sending the goods, preferably who is the owner, is called as consignor. To whom we are sending, that person becomes the consignee. Okay, suppose if A of Hyderabad is sending goods to B of Bangalore, so A is the consignor, B is consignee. So try to understand these terms. Now, so when consignor sends goods to consignee, naturally consignor will send the instructions like what are the figures of goods, at what price it is to be sold. Okay, and both parties, that means consignor and consignee will come to an agreement that what rate of commission is to be paid on sales, whether advance is to be given or not. All the terms and conditions with respect to consignment will be decided in advance and they both will come to an agreement. After that only the consignment business will start. So in this class we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is differences between consignment and sale. Very important for 10 marks. Consignment and sale. Normally when you go to shop, a seller will sell you the goods. You go to any stationery shop, if you buy a textbook, you are the buyer, the shopkeeper is the seller. So like that we will have seller and buyer. But in consignment we have got consignor and consignee. What are the various differences between consignment business and normal trading activity, normal sales? Okay, the first difference is based on the ownership. Okay, the first difference is based on the ownership. So where the ownership vests means who is retaining, kiske paas rehta ownership. So remember that in the consignment ownership vests with the consignor till the goods are sold to the ultimate consumer. Ownership is not transferred from consignor to consignee. Remember this point. Simply I am sending goods from my place to my consignee's place. I am not going to give the ownership. Okay. So remember, in consignment business, consignee never becomes the owner. He is only just agent. Ownership rights will be with the consignor till the goods are sold to the ultimate consumer. So directly the ownership rights are transferred from consignor to the consumer, customer. Consignee never becomes the owner. He doesn't get any right on goods. So till the last minute, ownership will be with the consignor. That is the first point. Whereas in normal sales, in sales, ownership will passes from seller to buyer. For example, I am purchasing this marker. Till my transaction with the stationery shop owner, the owner of this marker will be the stationery shop owner. But once I buy this marker, I will become the owner. Now what happened? The ownership is transferred from the shopkeeper to me. That happens in sale. But in consignment, ownership doesn't transfer. Next, relationship. Okay, in trade, what is the relationship we establish between the people? So remember that between the consignor and the consignee, the relationship is of principal and agent. The relationship is of principal and agent. Clear? The consignor and consignee will become principal and agent. Who is a principal? Who is the owner of the goods? Who dictates the terms? Who is the agent? Agent is the person who works on behalf of someone else. Okay. So here, consignee is working on behalf of consignor. So consignee becomes agent. consignor becomes principal. Whereas in sale, the relationship is of a buyer and seller. So in sales, in common normal sales, what is the relationship between the two parties involved in the sale transaction is the buyer and seller. Next, return of goods. Whether after the transaction can the goods be returned? That question arises. So remember, in consignment, if the goods are not sold, consignee can send back the goods to consignor. For example, I am the publisher of these textbooks. I have sent 500 copies to my agent at Vijayawada, but due to various reasons, my consignee could sell only 300 copies. So 200 textbooks are left with him. So my agent can send them back. So in consignment, goods can be returned back to the consignor if they are not sold in the market. But whereas in sales, goods once sold cannot be returned. Okay, unless there is some damage or some other problem. In normal cases, goods once sold cannot be returned. For example, I have purchased this marker from a stationery shop. Okay, I have started writing. After a few days, I can't return it back because already I have started using it. Even if I have not used it, unless there is a complaint, unless there is some damage in this or genuine reason, I cannot return it to the shopkeeper. I cannot say that unnecessarily I have purchased it, now I don't want it, means the shopkeeper will not take it return. Okay, so in normal sales, goods once sold cannot be returned, whereas in consignment, goods can be returned if they are not sold. Next, risk. You all know what is risk. The fear of loss which arises out of the business uncertainty. So in consignment, who is the owner? The consignor. So the total risk like damage of goods, theft or any loss out of a regular business activity, damage of goods, okay, any risk which arises out of the consignment business should be borne by the consignor only. Consignee will not have any risk. Okay, if the goods are not sold, he can return back. If goods are damaged, the consignor has to get the claim. Clear? From insurance company. If any theft arises, any loss of bad debts, okay, every risk arising out of consignment activity should be borne by the consignor only. Whereas in normal sales, risk will be transferred from seller to buyer. Risk will be transferred from seller to buyer. For example, if I have purchased this mobile from the shop, okay, while taking home, unfortunately it fall down, okay, and got damaged, so that risk is mine. Now shopkeeper is not going to bear any risk because it was my mishandling to get my mobile damaged. Okay, so once the goods are sold, the risk will be transferred from seller to buyer. Whereas in consignment, the total risk is to be borne by the consignor only. Next, expenses. What are the expenses? Like transportation, packing, insurance, go down rent, salesman salaries, advertisement, loading and unloading charges, any clearing charges at the seaports or airports, all these expenses from starting to ending, all expenses are to be borne by the consignor only. Consignee is not going to bear any risk. Simply is the agent. He sells goods on behalf of us, and after sales, we have to calculate commission and just give the commission to consignee, but he is not going to bear any risk. Whereas in sales, after sale expenses are to be borne by the buyer. For example, you go to any electronic showroom and you buy a air conditioner, you buy a washing machine, you buy a fridge. So you have to bear the transportation cost. Till the goods are in the showroom, the seller is bearing the maintenance cost. Once the goods are sold, so after sales expenses like transportation, fixing, installation, all these charges are to be borne by the buyer only. Okay, that is what called as after sale expenses are to be borne by the buyer. Next, payment. Okay, That means when the cash is to be paid. Consignee is not liable to make the payment till the goods are sold. Even though you send goods to consignee, you cannot demand the payment from consignee unless the goods are sold in the market. So consignee is relieved of payment till the goods are sold. Consignor cannot demand that why you are lagging, why can't you pay the money, like that. You cannot demand money from consignee, okay, unless they are sold. Whereas in normal sales, if they are of cash sales, the buyer has to pay cash immediately. The buyer has to pay cash immediately. If they are credit sales, you have to pay on a stipulated date according to the agreement between the creditor and debtor. In case of credit sales, the money is to be paid on a agreed date. But in case of cash sales, the payment is to be made immediately. Next, commission. What is commission? It is the incentive. It is the incentive paid to the consignee by the consignor for his efforts. Okay, next we will discuss again what is commission, what are the various types of commission. So, commission is the incentive paid by the consignor to consignee for the efforts or for the services rendered by consignee. So, consignor gives commission to consignee, whereas in sales, seller does not give any commission to the buyer. Sometimes he may give discount. Seller will not offer any commission to buyer for purchasing the goods. Sometimes in order to increase the sales volume, he may offer some discount, but commission is not given. Next, account sales. What is account sales? A statement, a document, that also we discuss later. So, in consignment it is to be submitted at a periodical manner. In case of sales, account sales is not required. And what is the act? That means what are the guidelines we are going to follow? According to which act we continue this business? Consignment Act is covered under Indian Contract Act 1872, whereas sales is covered under Sale of Goods Act 1930. Next, profit or loss. Quite naturally, whenever you carry out some business, that gives scope for any profit or loss. So, who is going to bear the profit or loss? Any profit or loss, it belongs to consignor in case of consignment. In case of sales, any profit or loss, that belongs to seller.